Good evening, traveler, and welcome to the Penumbra. Please, take a seat. You've picked an excellent place to spend the night, dear traveler. The Penumbra is the grandest hotel this side of nowhere. Countless rooms and countless halls. Just look around you. See how the doors and guests go on and on. Even we aren't sure how many there are or what lies behind them. Will you be staying for tonight's show? Excellent. Many of our guests do. We ask that you leave all food and drinks outside the theater for the duration of this program and that you turn off all mobile devices so as not to interrupt the performance. We also discourage the use of flash photography as it can be distracting to your fellow travelers as well as our storytellers. You're in good company, dear traveler. The Penumbra draws guests from everywhere and every when, and all of them have stories to tell. Tonight's tale will excite and delight you, though I must warn you, this tale is not for the faint of heart. If you have with you any children or infants who might find themselves squeamish or upset at such displays, we ask that you leave the theater now, at your own discretion. Tonight's guest has been a fixture in the Penumbra for as long as anyone can recall. He's a roguish PI with a dark and mysterious past, who's been called in on a murder millions of years in the making. A curse from an ancient king, a death mask that tears its wearers to shreds, and a very strange special agent have made this case one of Detective Juno Steele's most unpredictable yet. But then, that's what happens when you enter Casa Kanagawa. Plot twists and cliffhangers abound, and the cameras are always rolling. The show they're capturing tonight will lead our heroes through Martian mafias, horrible restaurants, and the jaws of death. Detective Steele will certainly be receiving his 15 minutes of fame, even if they may be his last. What luck! It sounds like he's in. Come, dear traveler, come with me into room J12.
Hyperion City. Some people say it's the most beautiful place in the galaxy. The rest of us live here. It's the kind of place that they make postcards about Hyperion. Hell of a skyline, neon waves and twinkling lights below and shimmering satellites hanging high above. But here's the thing about a skyline. It only shows you the outside of things. On the inside, things can get messy.
Mrs. Steele, you gotta call on line 1!
I was thinking about that messiness a lot on the day that I took the Grimm's mask case. Probably because I'd end up looking at somebody's insides later that very same day, and not in the fun way. After all, everyone knows there's pretty much only one person to call in Hyperion City when you have a corpse on your hands, and that person is Juno Steele, collector of bad art, decent cook, terrible gambler, and of course, private eye. Kind of a problem for me, considering that my name is Juno Steele. May we leave a name, Lisa?
Said it was confidential.
Never heard of him. Tell him I'm out.
Chipper as ever, Juno.
Sasha Wire. We were friends as kids, but it had been a long time since I'd last seen her. In Hyperion City, there are 3 kinds of people. People who eat, people who get eaten, and people like Sasha Wire, who are smart enough to leave.
Sorry, Mrs. Steele, my finger slipped.
No, yeah, sure it did. Hey, Sash. Didn't expect to see you on my comms.
And why is that, Juno?
Well, you did manage to avoid me for 15 years, so I figured you'd want to keep your streak up.
Trust me, I do. We wouldn't be talking if the situation weren't serious.
Well, it must be pretty bad if you're willing to fall back on me. How's dinner and a movie sound?
Unproductive. This is business, Juno. I'm working for...
Yeah, I know. Agent Wire, operative with the Dark Matters Investigative Branch 27B, dual specialties in site profiling and spin control, most notably.
I see my reputation precedes me.
Well, just because we haven't talked doesn't mean that I can't keep tabs on you. You called me dashingly handsome once.
A moment of weakness.
Sasha Wire? Weak? Oh, I thought I'd never see the day.
We were 4.
From the mouths of babes, Sash.
Do try to focus, Juno. Have you heard anything about the death mask of Grimpathuthis?
More than I'd like. That thing's been all over the news for months now. Croesus Kanagawa has it, right?
More or less. 3 years ago, an ancient Martian tomb was discovered underneath the Olympus suburbs. The local government tried to field their excavation, but you can say it didn't go as planned.
24 dead archaeologists went in the budget.
The tomb was thoroughly booby-trapped, and the Olympian government couldn't afford to continue the investigation. Enter Kanagawa. He wrote up an agreement, the Olympian signed it, and his men finished the excavation. That's where they found the mask.
Still in use, knowing Croesus.
The fine print on Kanagawa's agreement with Olympus states that he can lay claim to any objects of interest he chooses. And he chose Grimm's mask. Suffice to say, neither party is very happy. They were very insistent that Hyperion's very best take this case.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm insistent about, Sash, at not getting gutted by a bunch of mobsters with TV cameras. Do you know what the last thing that Croesus Kanagawa said to me was?
No.
Well, it was a little hard to make out, through the concussion, but I believe it went something to the tune of, if you ever set foot in here again, I'll kill you.
And what in the world did you do to deserve that?
Just saved his son, is all. Most of his son. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is, Sasha, I'm not going back in there. So you can just tell Croesus Kanagawa and his cronies that Juno Steele is not going to be their stooge anymore.
We couldn't ask that even if we wanted to, Juno. Croesus is dead.
All right. I am interested.
You'd better be.
So, any suspects so far? Must be something pretty bad to get Dark Matters in on a local homicide.
That's all classified, I'm afraid.
All right. But why do you need me? I didn't think Dark Matters liked to play nice.
That's classified too.
Yeah, sounds about right. That kind of case, huh?
Here's what I can tell you. The situation regarding Grimm's mask is sensitive enough that we're concerned about interference from certain organizations.
Which ones?
Classified.
You Dark Matters types sure do know how to have fun, don't you? Well, listen, Sash, I don't want to waste my time on anything cheap.
Don't lie to me, Juno. It hasn't been that long.
Twice my usual rate, or I'm weak.
Fine.
Good. I sent that invoice 5 minutes ago. So, find out who killed Croesus Kanagawa, disprove a curse. Is that it?
There's just one more requirement, Juno.
Now, agent. I don't like that flirtatious tone.
We're sending one of ours to aid the investigation.
Like hell you are.
It's a required term of business, I'm afraid. A term you agreed to 4 minutes ago when I paid that invoice.
I am not being followed around by some jerk in a suit all day, Sasha.
Perhaps you can talk him out of the suit, but his assistance is not up for debate. His name is Agent Rex Glass. I've never met him, but he specializes in issues of this variety.
Murders?
The occult.
The what? Sorry?
Goodbye, Juno. I'll see you in another 15 years.
Well, it's like I said. Juno Steele is a lot of different guys, depending on the day. Collector of bad art, decent cook, terrible gambler. But here's one thing that he is not. An exorcist. So, I threw on my coat, grabbed my keys, and spun just enough laser cards into my blaster. If I could get out of here quick enough, I might have been able to solve this case without ever having to hear about ghosts, or boogeymen, or whatever Agent Tyrannosaurus was into.
Hello there.
Hey, wait, just where do you think you're going?
Hello.
You...
Detective Steele, are you in there?
Might have been able to, if I'd moved a little quicker.
Darling, could I ask you to... Thank you. You are a gem on Mars, Miss Rita, and twice as beautiful, if I may add. Ah, Detective Steele. How nice to finally meet you at last. Detective, are you trying to crawl out that window?
I'd say I was succeeding.
Well, I'd heard they do things differently on Mars, but I must admit, you'll have to show me your customs, Detective. Is there room in that window for two?
Agent Rex Glass was something, that's for sure. He looked like he was happy to see me, and like he'd be just as happy to kill me. But, it wasn't a bad look, all things considered. Agent Glass?
Oh, only to my mother, Detective Steele. Call me Rex, please.
Mr. Steele, you gotta send him back here.
Buzz off, Rita.
The forms, Mr. Steele.
Funny, you never cared about those forms before.
Oh, come now. Rita? Yes? Well, a lovely woman such as yourself shouldn't be cooped up in an office fussing over paperwork.
I really?
Really? Well, goodbye, Rita. I'll never forget you.
Okay. Who was that, and what have you done with my secretary?
Oh, there's a right way to talk to everyone, my dear detective. You just have to find it. Let's hope we find ours soon, eh?
Alright, Glass, let's get right down to business.
Oh, just like that? You weren't even going to offer me a drink first?
No.
Oh, well. What do you know so far?
Well, I know that with a high enough security clearance, I can take 15 minutes to say nothing.
Oh, is that a hint of passive aggression I detect, my dear detective?
Very perceptive.
Well, that is sort of my job.
Alright, cut the crap. Princess Kanagawa's dead. Ancient mask, nobody's very happy. But why are you here, Glass? Why not just send in the HCPD?
Oh, good. We can get right to the juicy part. Tell me, Juno, do you know of the curse of Grimm's mask?
No.
Ancient scribes of Grimm have through this wrote that whosoever disturbs the mask will have their life
No,
claimed.
come on, Glass. Is Dark Matters really wasting its time on fairy tales now?
Absurd, isn't it? But Kanagawa was found wearing the mask, and my direct report says, and you'll really love this, that last generation's fairy tale is this generation's scientific breakthrough.
I mean it. Incredible.
Oh, I do find it to be a questionable use of resources, but oh well, it's got me to Mars and it's got me to you, Juno Steele. And I have to say, I'm enjoying both immensely already.
That's the other thing. What do you need me for?
Oh, we don't.
That's fair.
Oh, but Kanagawa was found wearing the mask, and Kanagawa was found wearing the mask, and you must know that truly.
Let me take a random guess. They wanted to bring Cecil in?
Ah, yes. Cecil. They told us that they wouldn't let us in without one of the family, and evidently you make the cut.
Well, that's just swell.
But after all, you have to understand. What exactly tangles up a dear detective like you up with a family like the Kanagawas? Marriage, adoption, cousin twice removed.
In my, line of work, it pays to have powerful friends. Keeps all the powerful enemies at bay.
Oh, do be serious, Juno. Marriage, adoption, cousin twice removed. Marriage to an adopted cousin twice removed?
No, right. A few years ago, Croesus' son, Cecil, got mixed up with some bad business with the triad, and I got him out of it, in more or less one piece. The Kanagawas like to keep their business in the family, so I guess I count now.
Oh, lucky, Juno.
It's not exactly how I put it. Are you ready?
Oh, I was born ready. Well, isn't this exciting? Off to solve a murder, to prove an ancient curse.
Disprove.
And I feel as if though, by the time we're through, I'll have solved a far greater mystery. Juno Steele, the man, the myth, the legend. How intriguing.
Yeah, just try to keep up. The Kanagawas lived in one of those giant mansions hanging over our town. It's easy to find, especially at night. You just look for the moon, and then look for the slightly bigger moon that's hanging right next to it. That's the Kanagawas. We were shown in by a short man who looked like Croesus, handed off to a tall woman who looked like Croesus. She talked to fat twins behind a desk in order to get us key cards with Croesus' face printed on them. Kanagawas found it easier than most to keep their business in the family. They had a hell of a lot of family to go around.
Well, the Kanagawas must really love this model. They have so many of them.
The Kanagawas breed like rabbits, which is to say that most of them don't make it past 16, but the ones that do are smart and crafty and will sell your arm straight off of your body if they think they'll get 5 creds for it.
Those are some savvy rabbits. The kind I'm used to like to eat carrots and wrinkle their little noses.
This must be your first visit to Mars then. If you want to keep your limbs, stay clear of the sewers.
Duly noted. What do they do anyway, these Kanagawas?
You're joking.
Oh, I know the broad facts. Stars that stream and scream by day, kings of the criminal underground by night, but that's all textbook. I want to know what it's like down on the ground. Go on. Regale me.
Well, you got most of it. Stars and kings. It's a bit much. Maybe 3 months
Oh,
ago.
show business moves quickly.
Yeah.
Some can't keep up.
Well, I don't know, Cecil does alright. His sister Cassandra too. Their stepmother is a good teacher. But anyway, we're here.
Oh, incredible. Can you imagine hundreds of dead masks, vaults, tombstones, sarcophagi, all staring you down? Perhaps it's where you want to die all alone.
I don't think Croesus planned to die at all.
And you, Juno? Where do you see yourself dying?
In a cold ditch somewhere, just like anybody else.
Oh, dream a little.
Fine. A warm ditch, then.
You don't take anything seriously, do you?
Do you have a problem with that?
Oh, not at all. I find it admirable standing up against the big, mean world and just laughing.
Well, well, well. Look who the rabbits dragged in. How are you these days, Junebug?
Alive? How about you, Cecil?
About the same, Junebug. About the same. And, who's your friend?
Asian Rex Glass, with Dark Matters. It's an honor to meet you, Mr. Kanagawa.
Dark Matters. Huh. You know, Juno, I don't have an understanding on this one, right? You know how it is in small families like ours. We don't like to air our dirty laundry. That is, we're very private people.
Oh, yes, just you, the family, and 10 billion viewers. Excuse me, Mr. Kanagawa, would you show us to the body, please?
He's alright, Cecil. Scout's on him.
How well, if you insist. You are my closest friend, after all.
Last time I spent more than 30 minutes with you was on one of your shows, where you lost your arm.
And the ratings were glorious.
Glass might have been alright, but Cecil was not. He had his father's taste for blood and nose for trouble, but maybe a fourth of the old man's brain cells. Standing next to him for too long was a pretty good way to make sure you got shot, especially with that cold chrome number on his side. All sorts of nasty surprises tucked away inside that. I'm the reason he didn't lose his other arm, along with his legs, tongue, most of his head. I saved his life. Try not to beat myself up too bad about that one. Everybody makes mistakes.
I'm dreadfully sorry about all that security, Junebug, but you know how it is. We had a run-in with Rico and that new bodyguard of hers a month or two ago, and we didn't want to risk anything. Don't fret, dear. We'll make it worth your while.
I'd really rather you didn't.
Now, you two just need to do me a few favors. Do you understand? We brought you in here, Junebug, because we trust you, Mother especially, and we trust you to do one thing in particular. Keep quiet. Sign these.
Now or in a month? I've seen novels shorter than this contract.
Here you are.
You signed it? Have you even read it?
We both already signed it, Glass. It's the first page of the guest book at the front door. Now remind me again, Cecil, what was it that you called this little number?
The Kanagawa Special. Add 1 part confidentiality agreement, 1 part personal likeness rights, 2 parts owning the footage of everything you do inside these walls. Tell anyone about what you see here. Agent and your darkest secrets will be primetime specials every weeknight from now until the day you die.
I don't think I like this man, Juno.
He's not even the worst one.
Do hold me.
Well, here we are, boys. Say hello to Daddy.
Incredible!
What the hell is that on Croesus's face?
You're joking, right?
Maybe, but I won't know until you say the punchline.
Juno, that's the mask, the death mask of Grupo Thufus.
Didn't look like any kind of mask I'd ever seen. This had more in common with a folding chair, a big bronze-colored mess crumpled up where Croesus Kanagawa's face was supposed to be. There was a head crammed in there. It probably didn't look much like a head anymore.
Pretty, isn't it? When we first found the old man, it looked a lot more like this.
The mask snapped open like an accordion. It had 3 little heads, each with too many eyes and noses and other horrible things to count. As for Croesus, well, the thing had tried to split his one head into 3 little ones. And succeeded.
Who knows what this thing does?
Are you sure that's your dad, Cecil?
You think we wouldn't check, Juno? This is kind of a problem for us.
I'm sorry for your loss. But the thing that gets me is that you don't seem all that sorry.
Sorry isn't really the word. There isn't any sorry. Pissed is a good one. Busy is another. Too busy to deal with this now that all of Dad's old business is on my plate. And that's why we called you. I thought I could rely on you, Juno. So, are you going to take care of it or not?
I'm not your janitor, Cecil.
No, you're better than that. Your family and the Kanagawas expect certain responsibilities from our family. And speaking of responsibilities, I've got a special on Who Scout that's running behind schedule. Our prison riot was supposed to start 30 minutes ago.
Truly doing God's work, Cecil.
Ta, Juno. Agent Glass.
Charming as ever. Alright, Glass, you want to stop drooling over that mask so that we can take a look around?
Oh, no need. I've completed my investigation.
Oh, you have you? Well, there's a fine line between bluffing and hallucinating, Glass, and you passed it. About 10 miles back.
Oh, did I? A completely cylindrical room and added center a perfectly cuboid display case. The display case, which until last night housed only Grim's mask. The glass is smashed to one side. You can see the tearing line.
Let's stick to the room, for my sake.
In short, the mask killed him, but I doubt it did so without assistance.
So you think someone broke into the case, took out the mask, shoved it on his head, and then shoved it back into the case?
That wouldn't be necessary, but really incredible polymer, this Martian mask. It changes to assume the shape of what it contains. One hard push from any direction, and will be enough to swallow the victim whole. Oh, and there is one last thing. The killer's name.
That metal could tell you all that.
No, silly. She's left her signature. Inside the case. Take a peek.
In there?
Oh, come now, my brave detective. Not afraid of a little blood, are you?
It wasn't the blood that was the problem. After what the Ning had done to Croesus, it looked like someone had popped a balloon full of pasta bolognese inside that case. The glass was right. 2 fingers had traced 2 ancient characters in the mess inside of there. A signature.
Arya Atwood. That name mean anything to you, Juno?
Yeah, all the wrong things. The triad left it. It's the code name of their boss. They leave it at the site of all of their big political murders. It's kind of a, calling card.
Ooh, an invitation. Mind if I'm your +1?
That was a pretty good investigation, boss. Color me impressed.
Oh, it won't be the last time, I promise you that.
Wasn't everything, though.
Oh, I suppose I did skip a few details I found trifling, but if you'd like to talk about the wallpaper patterns detected, by all means.
The case? You said it was smashed.
It is.
Broken into, maybe, but not smashed. The cut is perfectly circular, see, and all of the broken glass is on the inside. It looks like someone cut into the glass to weaken it and then pushed it through.
Part of the triad ritual, you think?
It could be, but it's worth seeing what the family has to say about it first. The triad is not the kind of nest that you want to kick unless you're really sure it's the right one.
Well, gangsters and stream stars and kicking nests, my dear detective, you certainly live an exciting life. Why don't you go talk to the family and I'll conduct my investigation of Groom's mask here.
Kanagawa Manor isn't the kind of place you want to be alone in, Rex. We're going together.
But Dark Matter said...
We will pack up the mask and bring it back to my office. You can look at it there.
Fine. But I've never been good at waiting, Juno. You'd better keep me entertained.
The triad. I really didn't want it to be them. You see, it's this funny thing of mine where I like to keep my head attached to my shoulders. So, before I left, I had to make sure that there were absolutely no other options. And if there was one person in this family who could help me with that, it was Cassie. You stay here, Blythe. Cassandra can get a bit, testy.
Oh, how dull. You never introduced me to your friends.
Juno Steel!
Huh. You're next, Juno Steel.
Incredible.
Turn around, Juno Steel. Your time has come, Juno Steel. Raise your hands, Juno Steel, or I will strike you down where you stand.
Perhaps you'd better do as the Spectre asks, Juno. They might shave a few years off your eternity for good behavior.
Shut up. Alright, they're up. They're up. Do you mind coming out so I can see the ghost that's going to trap me to death?
Silence. Now repeat after me. I, Juno Steel, forfeit my soul to the great Remphatheusis.
I, Juno Steel, forfeit my soul to the great Remphatheusis.
And I really wish I had checked in with my old friends more before I died.
Temporal verb confusion?
And I also regret this haircut because, wow, I look awful.
Oh, knock it off.
Say yes.
I know that's you, Cass. Open up, it's the police. Do you mind if I come in?
Who's a crate?
These are not the droids you're looking for. Don't mind him, Cass. He's just here about your dad. Let's talk about this inside. Rex stapled.
She insists.
Great.
Well, she seems lovely.
Alright, you get 3 minutes and then you're gone. I'm busy.
Yeah, I can see that. It's one hell of a mess in here.
Yeah, I'm packing and getting out of here. I've had enough of this place.
During a murder investigation? It's a pretty easy way to get locked up, Cass.
You don't have to handcuff me to the door if you want me to stick around this place. I'm so free, the drones get jealous.
Inside tip from a former cop, Cassandra. Leaving the planet when you're a suspect in a murder investigation. Well, it makes it look a whole lot like you've got, something to hide.
Something to hide in this place? I had to go on strike just to get a private bathroom installed, and even that one's got a camera inside the stall.
But if that's private, then what was the what? No, you know what? I don't want to know. Look, I get it. You want to leave. But you've always wanted to leave, Cass. What's the rush now?
If I tell you the story, will you get the hell out of here?
If it's a good enough story.
Fine. Chris has finally agreed not to renew my contract.
Wait, really? Wait, really? But I thought your shows were worth too much for him to just let you go.
They are. He just got sick of hearing about it, I guess. I was supposed to leave next week. Creases croaking like that causes a lot of trouble for me, Juno. Besides
what?
I never got it in writing.
Oh. I'm sorry, Cass. No, really, I am.
Alright, you asked me a question, now I get to ask you one.
Alright. Just like old times, I guess. If you ever got desperate enough, Cass, you'd make one hell of a PI.
Verbal contracts, they worth anything?
About as much as the air they're written on.
Be serious.
I don't joke, Cass. The universe does it for me.
Fine. Then I get out of here. Run off to one of the far arms of the galaxy or whatever. What do you think my odds are?
Of escaping the Kanagawas and their cameras? Pretty high.
Wait, really?
Yeah, I mean, when you explode on the way, there won't be that much left to film. Think about this, Cass. Your family has a few thousand creds on every spaceport running off of Mars.
Knock it off, Juno. You're going too far.
So you find a hobbyist, someone willing to take you out to Neptune or somewhere, someone who won't sell you out even for the 10 trillion creds that you're worth.
You always do this, you jerk.
Should be pretty easy to find. You just gotta find someone who doesn't like money or doesn't have eyes.
You come in here pretending you care, but you don't care about anyone but yourself, do you?
Fine! Long story short, you're stuck here. You're going to be rotting away in this nut house for a very long time.
We'll see who rots first.
That's one hell of a teddy bear. Do you sleep with that thing?
I trusted you. I told you everything I couldn't tell my own family, and you just spit on it.
Yeah, sounds like me. Keep packing, Cass. Agent Glass and I should be wrapped up with this by tomorrow afternoon. You can't go to outer arms, but that's not the only place to hide in this galaxy. I'll show you some when all of this is through. This time tomorrow you will be out of here, Cass. I always keep my promises.
You really expect me to believe that?
I don't need you to. I didn't like to rile Cassandra up like that, but it's kind of necessary. The girl had a trigger finger with the chicken pox, and I knew it wouldn't take much for her to pull out what she had.
Well, Juno, is she our lucky lady?
I don't think so. She pulled a Neo Derringer personal artillery rifle on me.
Oh, my poor detective. Doesn't that make you suspicious?
No. The NDPA can make a hole through something big enough to throw a golf ball through without touching any of the sides. Say she wanted to kill Croesus, she wouldn't have needed to go through all that trouble with the mask. Let's go find Min. Rex and I tried to find the woman of the house, but she was busy, telling the world that her husband was alive. So, Rex flashed his shiny Dark Matters badge and all of his teeth at an old man who looked like Croesus might have done, if his head hadn't exploded, and we got the mask and got the hell out of there.
What a thrill! Off to a secret triad base, ancient treasure in hand. Why, Juno, you look positively snowy. Not afraid of a few gangsters, are you?
Of course not.
Why don't you prove it to me then? Show me how brave you are.
I had to hand it to her. Glass had a nice voice. Good cologne, too. But you didn't notice it until he came really close.
So, where are we headed?
The triad has two main exports running off of Hyperion. Corpses and chow mein. The morgue is closed. So we are going to dinner.
Oh, well, I'd be honored, of course, detective, but be forewarned, it may be a very expensive day.
Big golden gate out front. Strings of twinkling Christmas lights lining the wallpaper. Head of the previous owner mounted over the bathroom door. There must have been 100 places in Hyperion that looked exactly like the triple threat. And that was by design. Because the triad knew the two secrets to endless money in the restaurant business. Nostalgia and sodium.
If anyone has any fondness for this type of interior design, I will never understand.
Hey, why don't you say that a little bit louder, Bluff? Because I don't think everyone in the kitchen heard you.
Ah, Mr. Steele. Here you are at last. We've been expecting you. And you've brought a guest. Huh. Oh, right this way, please. Right this way. We've got a table ready for you, and the chefs are already preparing your usual.
Wow, horrible decor. Excellent service. Come here often, Juno.
I've never been here before in my life. I didn't call ahead either.
Juno, you don't suppose we're being followed, do you?
This is Hyperion City, Rex. You're always being followed. The best you can hope for is that the person following you needs you alive until next week.
Your table, gentlemen.
Ah, I see you saved us the best seat in the house. The one surrounded by all the other completely empty best seats.
We thought a more intimate setting might please you.
We are not here for intimate. We're here for your boss.
Well, if you'd like to see the manager,
I think you may have misunderstood, my friend. He asked for your boss, not your manager. Find whoever your manager's manager calls his manager's manager, and you'll be halfway to the man we're looking for.
well, just a moment, please.
Interesting message, Glass.
With any luck, we won't be seeing him again. Middleman, press.
How do you plan on finding the manager then?
Oh, I don't. I plan to eat my meal in peace, drink excessively, and wait for the manager to come to us. In the meantime, I plan to get to know you.
There's just not that much to learn.
Oh, I doubt that highly, you know. Every human being upon this earth has plenty of depth. We are but billions of stars and variations. With numbers like that, there can't help but be a constellation or two.
Your wine?
Hold on. Aren't you going to let us smell it? But they told me we've been told otherwise. Juno, does balsamic vinegar pass for wine on Mars?
Well, I guess that depends on how desperate you are.
No different from everywhere else then. We will not be drinking this preserve.
But they told me...
Well, you've been told again. Are you in sheep? Exercise some free will and do exactly as I say. Bring us another bottle. What are your constellations then, Juno?
I'm happy to answer your questions, Lars, but first they have to make sense.
You have an interesting name. Juno. Juno, like protectors, mothers, caregivers?
I'm not sure that's what Mom had in mind. I looked up the name once. It turns out Juno had something of a mean streak. She made a habit of killing her stepkids.
And do you have a main street, Juno?
No. Mom did though. Never killed me, but that wasn't the lack of trying.
Oh, that's too bad. I hear it can be handy. Detectives know how to get rough every now and again.
Wine?
Well, goodbye.
You big bye now.
What about Rex? That short for anything?
Nothing but itself. It means king, in a language dead 10,000 years.
King Glass.
Oh, I think it's fitting. Powerful, confident, semi-divine. And a king, Juno, is always in need of a queen. The position is always open.
I'll pass. Crown's not a good look on me.
No? There are other role positions that need filling too, of course.
I'm sure there are.
A man named Alexander had that figured out.
Sounds like a smart guy. Has it occurred to you just how pretentious your name is? Like I'd swear that you'd put it out yourself. What?
This is our last bottle. You take this wine or...
Well, with a deal like that.
We'll take it.
I have to say, I'm happy to admit, I don't drink that, by the way, it's poison. And to find that I not only tolerate my guide on Mars, but I actually enjoy their company, well, it's tremendously relieving. Poisoned? Oh, to hell and back again, detective. It has been since the first bottle, and by my estimation, with each one we send back our waiter, who has the second largest biceps I've ever seen, consults with his friend over there, who has the largest biceps I've ever seen. They're talking right now. You don't know how to read lips, do you?
I can read faces just fine.
Oh, what did you dare say?
Well, let's say we might be close to finding out where the shredded beef comes from.
Gentlemen, my friend here has told me that you appear unsatisfied with the selection of our cells. Is there anything we can do for you?
It's nothing against the wine.
Wait, it is, actually.
Mr. Glass and I just have a little hang-up over starting our meal before everyone's at the table.
Oh, is a member of your party missing?
He's feigning ignorance, Juno.
Not very well.
Oh, look at him turn red. Why don't you? You should consider bottling it, sir.
My manager has stated...
I get the feeling we've had this conversation before.
Barely a few minutes ago, as I recall.
Smart tongues will get you nowhere.
Maybe, but it's not just my tongue that's smart.
Okay, smart ass. Let's see how smart you feel in a minute.
Oh, Juno!
Finally, we're getting somewhere.
It's dinner with the boss. You like, is it? That can be arranged. I think it's customary to take requests for a last meal. Take the orders, and then take them into the inner sanctum.
Do you have a plan, Juno?
This is my plan.
Oh, and after this?
Don't
Oh,
die.
excellent. Glad to know we're on the same page then.
Cornered. A 2-ton hand on my back and a gun to my head. We were outmaneuvered, outgunned, and totally out of our element. Which meant that I had them exactly where I wanted them. Or, I would. when I came up with a plan. The smell of pad thai and French fries stuck to the air like a hangover. It was the kind of smell so thick you could taste it. Hell of a meal that they serve over at the Triple Threat. Cut lips and busted ribs all before they even bring out the appetizer. It was the nicest meal I'd had in weeks.
Oh, Juno, you delicate little flower, that punch didn't knock you out, did it?
The only real difference between this and any meal I'd had before was that guy, Rex Glass, agent with the Dark Matters Initiative. We were chained up in an unfinished basement after getting the hors d'oeuvres beaten out of us, so things were kind of looking up. Normally I have to pay top dollar for that kind of treatment. Do you mind keeping it down back there, Glass? I've got a hell of a headache.
You're taller.
I'm so glad you noticed.
Ah, Detective Steele. And his guest. It's a pleasure to see you again, Detective.
I wish I could say the same, but we've never met.
My name is Priscilla Pate, and I am the regional manager for this branch of the triad. May I get you to anything? Water, tea, milkshake?
I, for one, would love some water if you could see your way to release it.
Nothing? What a shame. We've been watching you for a long time now, Juno Steele. You have a tab with the triad.
I took Cecil off the triad's hand 6 years ago, Pete. That's a long time to hold a grudge.
Your debt accrues interest every day. Each day Cecil Kanagawa remains living is a day viewers across the galaxy tune in to his shows, his feeds, his streams, and if they're watching those, Mr. Steele, they're watching ours. The triad cannot allow that.
This is just a thought, but have you considered improving your own programming? It just seems, well, slightly less drastic than espionage, kidnapping, and murder.
Improve? Hardly! Cecil's programs are exquisite. I especially liked his feature the other night on recent improvements in ritual execution. The demonstrations were breathtaking. No. I'm afraid we'll never get that. And that leaves only one option. We'll just have to beat him. But even Cecil is pocket change compared to our current topic for the evening. Tell me, Juno, do you read the tabloids?
Not really.
Well, I am surprised. For every 100 entries in any rumors column, one always tells the truth. And there is no business more lucrative than the business of truth, is there? You must know that, as a detective.
I don't know, Pete. I deal in truth every day, and I've barely got enough to feed my assistant.
I think you might have liked that one, Juno.
No. The money isn't in speaking the truth. It's in owning it, sitting on it, like a dragon on his gold. You do well to remember that. You know, I heard a very interesting rumor just the other day, Mr. Steve. One worth very much indeed.
If it's true.
Of course.
Juno!
You were at the Kanagawas this morning. I want to hear about Croesus.
Never heard of that.
Juno, you idiot!
You're funny, Juno Steele, but the time for jokes is past.
I agree. So why don't you put down that toy and bring in a real knife?
What do you know?
I know you don't know the first damn thing about creases, or you would have aimed somewhere a little more vital than my thigh.
I was being generous. There are plenty of places even less vital than that, and much more
No.
painful.
No, we'll tell you anything you want to know.
Well, it seems we've gotten somewhere after all. So, Agent Glass, will you be more cooperative?
Immediately so. Croesus Kanagawa has recently obtained the death mask of Grippoplutus, an incredible archaeological find, and he's housed an entire wing of his mansion just for storing it in.
You shouldn't have told them that, class. The Kanagawas aren't going to like it.
Grimm's Bass. Gentlemen, I've no interest in any masks. Whether Croesus collects ancient treasures or model spaceships makes no difference to me. I'll be more direct. The Kanagawa's contracts go up at the end of the month. For weeks, the entertainment world has been awash with theories and speculation as to what their next slate of programs will be. And I've heard from a very reputable source that their already extensive line will be expanding significantly.
Interesting theory. What's the source on this rumor?
A house that large generates a lot of trash, Mr. Steele. And I'm not just talking about the Kanagawas.
Well, I like that one.
Someone found it digging through the dumpster. It's not exactly rock solid, is it?
That may be true, Mr. Steele, but thankfully, I've managed to locate 2 experts to deliver me first-hand testimony of Croesus' plan. They, that's you, will give me the details I desire.
And then?
Then you die.
That sounds like a raw deal.
Oh, yes, I would expect a businesswoman of her stature to have a better grasp of the basic tenets of selling.
I'll remind you I have an edge in these
Oh, I do
negotiations.
believe she needs her knife, Juno.
That sounds about right.
She's being clever with her language, you see.
What did Kanagawa send you for? What's he planning?
They say the truth will set you free, Juno.
Kanagawa isn't planning anything.
So much for that.
I won't hesitate to kill you both!
Yeah, but if you do, there goes your payday. And any middle manager who throw out her profits won't stay a middle manager for long. What do you think Aria Atwood would have to say about that?
You're behind the times, Mr. Steele. The triad of a year ago might have left you alive. But tonight, you will die. So what will it be, gentlemen? A quick death? Or a slow one?
You win, Kate.
Of course I do. Now,
We don't know what the programs are going to be.
Juno,
But we can get
wise?
you the person who does.
you don't mean.
Get us a secure line, Priscilla. We'll get you your call with Croesus.
The man himself get you that line. But you better not try anything cute, or you'll die on the spot.
Nothing cute. Well, we could-
Nothing tricky.
Awesome.
Yup, got it.
Good. Well, gentlemen, think about what you're going to say. It had better be a very convincing phone call, or you'll have a long, long time to wish you had rehearsed.
Well, Juno, I must admit the political situation on Mars seems unnecessarily complicated.
Try living on it.
Well, do you have any idea on how to get out of here?
Stay still. When you get tied up as often as I do, you eventually learn to prepare. My prep was cheaper than most. It didn't cost any more than a spool of thread and a 10 cred plasma blade cutter. I undid the seams in my sleeves and pulled out the knife.
Don't move. That seems entirely contrary.
Don't move. I didn't mention that I couldn't see the knife, or the ropes, or either of our hands. Maybe I should have. You might have been more prepared.
Oh!
Damn it!
You don't have to have another one of those, do you, Juno?
Of course I do. Just take a cab back to my place, and I can show you a draw telephone.
Well, do you have anything else?
Can't quite.
Stop pulling, Juno. You're an unbearable bunkmate. First the burning, then you hog all the chain.
What do you have any better ideas?
Well, They did confiscate my knife. Check the back pockets of my coat. They're too far from my hands for me to reach, but they're back there. Just be careful. Who knows what you'll find?
You really weren't kidding, huh? You keep more per pound in these pockets than most kangaroos.
No, I did warn you.
But I found it. A heavy-duty plasma blade cutter, not the kind that they hand out to civilians, sandwiched between two halves of, well, a sandwich. It would have been nice to know about this before.
No, you said you had it under control. Juno, were you an only child? You don't play well with others.
Does it count if my brother got his warm ditch before I did?
Oh. I'm so sorry, Juno.
Kate will be back here any second, and chances are she's bringing some goons with her.
Juno,
Do you have any ideas?
Millions. Oh. Never mind.
Well. So this is how the Kanagawas do business?
Do you have any ideas
Where
now?
would you like to live?
Don't go out of your way.
Show them what happens when you cross the triad!
Juno, she's getting away!
Kate was halfway out the door and she was dialing the phone. In 10 seconds, she'd be on the line with Triad HQ. In 20, we'd be up to our asses in gangsters. But I gave her 5.
You
How unpleasant. It appears she's still alive.
You've made a grave mistake, Juno Steele. The triad doesn't forget. They'll come for you.
Yeah, the Triad and half the city. Enjoy your meeting with Croesus. She,
Oh, just stuck. I'll have a management deal with her tomorrow. Well, all in all, that was one of the least successful dinners I've ever had. 3 bodies, 1 injured detective, a big boo-boo on my hand, and no clues at all.
Well, I wouldn't exactly say none. Take a look at the ID on the phone number she was calling.
She was calling Triad headquarters, so that would be Andre Atwood? But wasn't the Triad boss name?
Aria, his mother. They don't line up. There's been a change of leadership.
I don't see how that affects our case, Juno.
The Triad wouldn't have written the wrong name. Even if Aria did kick the bucket, it takes time to elect a new leader.
So whoever wrote that name didn't know about the change in management?
Whoever wrote that name wasn't Triad. Just looking for a convenient stooge. We need to get back to the Kanagawas. We would have headed straight back to the Kanagawas if Rita and Glass hadn't decided to get in a little twist over nothing. Lightly stabbed.
Mr. Steele.
I didn't want you to worry.
Oh, with enough due respect, my dear detective. You do enough of that already. Just let us help you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is this our stab wound?
Do not test me, Juno. I will make it our stab. Well, Juno, are you okay?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Why don't you Stay still for a moment. I think I have a medkit here somewhere.
No, I couldn't really move if I wanted to, Rex. Hey, Glass. Did anyone ever tell you that you've got a really nice smell? What has a guy got to eat to get a smell like that?
It's cologne, Detective.
I've never tried eating cologne before. Have fun with your first aid kit.
Oh, I wouldn't worry, Detective. Dr. Glass has everything he needs for a successful procedure. Disinfectant, stitches, hacksaw, nanoplots.
Not fun.
Oh, what's the matter? Never played doctor before?
I'm not really in the mood for games, Rex.
Testy. Juno, about your brother. I apologize if I cried. I didn't realize the topic would be so personal.
Rex, do you remember how I told you that my mother never killed me?
Yes.
Well, my brother wasn't so lucky.
Oh. I'm so sorry, Juno.
No, I'm telling you this so that you'll be sorry. I'm telling you this so that you won't ask me any more goddamn questions about it, alright? It happened. It's done. It's over. Just drop it.
If that's what you want. Now, hold still. The stitches come next. There. And done.
That was fast.
Oh, madam, many salads, Juno.
You know what? I bet you are. Rex was a good babysitter. It wasn't so bad being fawned over for a change. Most of the human contact I get comes in 100 miles an hour and wears titanium knuckles. I was almost sorry when he insisted on having a doctor patch me up instead of... Well, it doesn't matter. We had a case to solve and I had a feeling our window of opportunity was closing.
So, back to the Kanagawas then.
Only place left to go.
Do you think you know who killed Croesus?
No. But I do think I know enough to get us in some trouble.
That does seem to be your method, doesn't it? What's that?
Tabloid. I found it in the waiting room of the hospital while you were signing us in. Pete was not wrong about that rumors column. Rumors about the Kanagawa's contracts. Some sort of megabomb left by the Martians. A nameless thief in Hyperion City. The owner of Saffron Farmer going missing. Backdoor deals. Front door lies. Finding out what's true and what isn't is worth a hell of a lot if you can figure out who to tell. You work in this sector, right?
Mostly. What?
Well, it's, there's lots of interesting stuff in there that I thought you might want to look into together.
My dear detective, is that an invitation?
Don't read too much into this, alright?
I'm honored, of course. But we Dark Matter Strikers don't stay in any one place too long. As soon as we've settled this matter with Grimm's Mask, I'll be riding the cosmic breeze on to the next planet.
I'm sorry to hear that.
No, as am I. But that's the future, Juno. And here we are in the beautiful present, and I'm more than willing to look into whatever you want me to. Now, why don't we discuss these rumors over a, say, candlelit dinner?
Just keep walking.
Juno, you're... Oh my! What happened to you?
Dog bit me.
That's a hell of a bandage for a
It was
dog.
a rather large dog.
No offense, Cecil, but right now I'd like to get straight to business. Or straight to a liquor cabinet, both of which I'm guessing we could find in your dad's office. So,
Father's office. Well, Juno, there's just so many things in there that it wouldn't be wise to show the public.
public? I thought we were brothers, Cecil. I thought that's why you wanted me here in the first place.
I'll admit it, you caught me on my words there, Junebug. Of course we trust you, it's just that things are so busy around here and...
Everything looks pretty calm to me, actually.
Ooh, that guard has been picking his nose for the past 5 minutes.
Ha! Well, not everyone's busy, of course, but I'm busy, terribly busy, so...
Now, Cecil, is that any way to treat family?
And in she came through the door. Min Kanagawa, the shadow behind the Kanagawa family. The other three had TV shows, video streams, perfume lines, but the public hardly ever saw Min, even though there wasn't a decision made in the family that she did not touch.
Juno, dear, it's been so long.
Min?
Mother, but you told me
Oh,
that...
hush, Cecil. I heard the way you talked to our darling Juno. I could hear it from down the hall.
But I was just...
No buts. It's inexcusable. And what's more inexcusable is your tardiness. Your talk show is set to air in 10 minutes, and where are you?
But Mother...
Parading the guests. Now out, you out. Juno and his friend had a perfectly simple request, and you've turned it into an inquisition.
Min!
Out.
So sorry, brother dearest. I'll be on my way out.
Children, I'm so sorry for Cecil's behavior. We've been turned upside down since last evening. Now, it's Croesus's office you want, isn't it?
If you don't mind,
Not at all. Follow me, gentlemen.
Well, that was easy.
don't count on it.
I'm sure Cecil has told you what the situation has been like on our end. Just horrible. At the pace we live, we haven't even had a moment to mourn poor Croesus yet. There are moments I call him to ask a question, only to remember. Horrible. Simply horrible.
We're so very sorry for your loss, Miss Kanagawa.
I assume Cecil told you not to say a word about this?
Huh? Oh, yeah, had a sign about a dozen forms to that effect, too.
Good. Oh, I know it seems heartless. This is business, I tell myself. Where is the soul gone for business? We have shareholders to consider, viewers to appease. This isn't just the end to Croesus Kanagawa that will satisfy them. We will have to keep quiet until such an end is written.
Excuse me, Miss Kanagawa. The writing team put together this post for the boss's feed, but they need signatures.
Of course they do. I'll be just a moment, dear.
She seems nice.
She always does.
Pretty, too.
Uh-huh.
Oh, Juno, I don't like the way you're looking at that woman.
Women like Min Kanagawa, taking your eyes off her is a pretty good way to end up dead.
You think she killed Croesus?
No. She's Croesus' second wife, you know, but there's pretty good money on the fact that she, opened up that position herself.
You don't mean.
That job was so clean it took 5 experts to even prove the woman was dead. Killing Croesus with the mask? It's too messy. It's not her style.
Oh, boys. What are you two talking about back there?
Just, ancient history.
How delightful. So sorry to interrupt with business matters, but the world keeps turning, even when the master is away. Now, Croesus's office is just around the corner.
What the hell was that?
I don't know. You don't think anyone's heard, do you?
It's coming from the office. I already knew who it was, and I knew Min did too. There wasn't a single person in Hyperion City who couldn't recognize that roar. It had played from the hours of 8 to 9 every Thursday on Kanagawa streams since she was 15 years old.
Cass! Juno! You took it, didn't you? You always do this.
Don't remember. Help me out. What did I take?
Yesterday! Give it back, Juno, or I swear I'm gonna
You don't mean the mask, do you?
mask. I don't care about the mask.
Nobody seems to. Bit of a misnomer, eh?
Ah, yes, for Juno Steele in the case of the legal documents of doom. Doesn't have quite the same ring to it, does it?
I knew it. I knew. I could trust you. Why is he here, Juno? Get out!
Settle down! Agent Glass is here to help me figure this whole thing out.
I'm here to investigate this curse and any claims towards its existence. Miss Kanagawa, my only interest is the mask. Truly.
Talk to them, Cassandra. It'll be all right.
You're gonna tell me that? Seriously? You wanna know what I'm looking for, Juno? My papers. You said you'd help me, well, I'm tired of waiting, so I'm getting out of here.
As is your right as a Martian citizen, Miss Kanagawa, once the matter of your father's death is settled, you'll be free to go.
I'm leaving now.
Once Detective and I clear you, you can go. Isn't that right, Detective?
Yeah. Cass, just answer a few questions, and if it all lines up, you can go.
You show me where to go? She can't stop me?
She doesn't have the right.
You know, I can still hear you. Right.
This shouldn't take 5 minutes of your time, Miss Kanagawa.
You're on the clock.
Well then, Detective?
All right. What are you looking for?
I already told you my papers.
I don't think so, Cassie. Earlier today, you told me Croesus wasn't going to renew your contract, that he was going to let you go. Is that right?
Sure.
Well, we heard a rumor to a slightly different effect. Is it at all possible that you were mistaken?
I heard him just fine.
Well, a different perspective then. Is it possible that your father deceived you? Your father told a lot of lies. Nobody ever made it in show business telling only little white lies.
Just a few questions, huh? Some questions where you already know the answers. That contract was a secret, and you took it just to mess with my head, didn't you?
Father told a lot of lies, I gather. A man like that, well, he's bound to meet a violent end eventually.
Better late than never.
What did he do? What was so bad that he had to die?
What was it about that contract that made you kill Croesus Kanagawa?
It was right here. Another 10 seasons for all of us. Twice as many shows on camera every second of the day, Juno.
I thought you said that he was going to let your contract lapse.
That's what he promised. That's what was supposed to happen. And then he stole that stupid mask and the ratings went up. Everyone's ratings did. And then I was so worried. There was so much money. He was going to sign me away. And I couldn't just let him get away with it.
Is this a confession? Shh.
I saw that contract from here about a week ago when I was looking for him. I brought it to my room to read the thing over, but I had to put it down for a while. I couldn't believe it. He promised me. He promised me so many times. And then when I was finally going to tell him off, the contract was gone. I couldn't find the damn thing anywhere.
Yeah, because it was... Oh. Cass, just hold on.
So he lied to me. And when he found out I knew about it, he snuck into my room and took his contract back. So, 2 nights ago, I decided that I'd finally talk to him about it. One-on-one, without anybody watching.
Without witnesses, you mean?
Just a second, Glass.
I didn't have anything planned. I was just going to talk to him.
I found him in that room, the one with the mask. He was pissed off the second he saw me, screaming about... I asked him about the contract, and he told me he didn't know what I was talking about. He just kept screaming about that stupid mask and that stupid glass case he'd spent all that money on. He wouldn't admit it. He lied to me about my freedom, and he lied to me about that contract, and I couldn't take it anymore. I just got so mad. I pushed him. I didn't think I pushed him hard enough to break the glass, but it was enough, I guess. He fell into the case. The mask covered his face, and then it ripped him apart.
She wouldn't look at me when she said it. For a second, I thought it was because she was ashamed. I should have known better. Delivering lines to a camera, her tears sent out in high definition across every screen on Mars. But I wasn't mad at her. You can't blame a puppet for moving when strings are pulled. It's showbiz, Cass. It's in your blood.
Gentlemen, I think it's time to take my daughter away now.
No! Juno, you can't let them take me away, Juno, come on. Juno, help me! Do something, damn it! Juno, please! Juno, you promised!
Well, come to think of it, that doesn't answer any of my questions about Grimm's curse at all.
No curse here, Glass. Just show business.
Oh, curse is its own striking type.
There are just two things bothering me about this case, and that curse isn't one of them. That contract. Not like an important document like that to just go missing, is it?
Surely a sign of a fractured mind. Our psychiatric evaluators will get right to it.
Your strengths. Of course, that's where she's going.
I'm not sure I follow.
Whose gal? Local lockup, owned and operated by Min Kanagawa. Do you know what the funny thing is about whose gal? Glass? Cameras. Cameras everywhere. They cover every inch of the damn place. It's for security, they say. But hey, who owns that footage, Min?
Cecil, technically. It's for his shows.
Cecil owns the footage. So if somebody owns Cecil, it's funny. It's funny about that contract. Funny how a legal document with Croesus' signature on it just goes missing. And it must be hard for you, man. But if you take the long view of it, you're doing all right, aren't you? Because Croesus' show was long on the decline anyway. Cassandra was going to leave, and once people got bored of the mask, you were going to have 2 duds on your hands. But now you have a special on the starlet who killed her father. You have a show about her rotting away in jail, and you still have her brother to milk for all that he's worth. Does that sound about right to you, Min? Theoretically, I mean.
Theoretically, of course. Only you have the papers to prove it.
It's a real shame that I've done. I don't mean much, no. But I do mean much. Let's go to rights.
Oh, Juno. Speaking as one who cares about you, dear, I may want to steer clear of dark alleys for a while. The Kanagawa family does not take kindly to those who harm their own.
I never put much stock in family, men. So thank you for reminding me why.
All's well that ends well, eh, Juno? The little thing about you broadened our definition as well. Oh, Juno, you aren't continuing to stay silent and leaving, are you? You're overbearing exactly as usually one of your charms of this.
Not really in the mood to celebrate class.
Come, Juno. I've only one evening left on Mars. You won't have to spend sobbing until you come, are you?
I've never been much of a sobber. I'm more a catch your reflection at the bottom of a glass and feel sick kind of guy.
You did nothing wrong, you know? It's over. She did still kill her father.
That's true.
We all survived. If you don't count my poor hand, my wound still throbs when it rains, you brute. Only, there is one thing bothering me. In Kanagawa's office, you said there were two things on your mind, but you only mentioned one. What was the other?
Refill?
Oh, so that's how it is. You know, you're very nasty in your levels.
Getting drunker by the second?
Morally outraged. Look at him standing up against the big, mean world. So foolish, so futile, and yet fascinating in every way imaginable.
You don't have to go, Rex.
See, this is exactly what I mean.
You don't have to do this. Oh, you know that, right?
But of course I do, Juno. I've dedicated my life to something much larger than both of us. It's been my whole life. But life can wait for one night, Juno. Can wait for as long as you want it to.
For a second, I almost thought he had a point. A larger purpose, away from all of this. No bloodthirsty mobsters with TV cameras, no backstabbing families, no Kanagawas, with a partner. I had to hand it to him. Agent Rex Glass made a Life in the Stars sound pretty damn nice. I almost wished that I would know how it felt. But I also knew why I couldn't chase that kind of feeling. Because that's the kind of man that Rex Glass was. He would give, and you would take, and you'd feel like it would last for the rest of your life. Until it's over. And you know you got exactly as much as you deserved. Rex,
Juno.
has anyone ever told you that you're under arrest?
Oh, Juno, usually not until this set
I
day,
mean
but
it, Glass, or whoever the hell you are.
I take it from your tone that this isn't some sort of intricate Martian courting ritual? Oh, fine. I'll buy it. Under arrest for what?
The attempted theft of the death mask of Remaguthus.
So I haven't the faintest idea what you're
And
talking
for
about.
stealing the keys to my safe right out of my pocket.
Well, that one does seem a little more familiar.
Do you want to know what the second thing was? It was the mask case. A perfectly circular cut. The kind of cut that the compass in your pocket might have been able to make.
Oh, very perceptive, Juno. Oh, I knew I'd regret letting you root around in there, but my options were limited.
I had it figured out before then. You called the case smashed. It wasn't smashed. It was broken into cleanly. A burglary, not a struggle. Why the hell would Kreese's Kanagawa's killer go through all of that trouble to take the mask out so quietly, just to leave it there? You must have been interrupted. You cut that circle in the glass, but you didn't have time to pull the mask out, and then Kreese's came along.
I had to make good my escape, Juno. You have no idea the security of that mansion. There ought to be a law.
Who are you?
What's in a name, Juno?
I need to know.
We are the universe's floating in this vast void of ours. It is so big and we so small.
What is your name?
I don't tell anybody my name, Juno. A signifier to these thoughts, you feel. It might make things simpler. But life is hardly simple, Juno. And neither am I. It would take someone very special for me to tell my name now.
I knew it was you. I knew that it was you, but I thought that you might be. So is Wire in on it too? The two of you are working together?
Oh.
Great.
Oh, Dark Matters. No, they told you the truth. The truth as they know it. Anyway, I do answer to the name Rex Glass for now.
You got into Dark Matters on your own.
Hardly it pays to have powerful friends, Juno, when you're surrounded by powerful enemies. No, you've demonstrated as much with the Kanagawas today. Allow me to shift the focus of our conversation, will you?
You've got about 2 minutes until the HDPD officers get here, and you can say whatever the hell you want until then.
Hyperion City isn't exactly the safest place for you right now at the moment, is it? In about a day, you've made enemies with two of the most powerful crime families in town. Not exactly a good look for you, is it? Sounds to me like you need to disappear, and I happen to be an expert in disappearance.
Taking off takes a lot of things that I don't have. Money, a will to live, self-respect.
Oh, but you do have those things, Juno. Listen, you can leave Hyperion City behind. I'll leave my powerful friends behind. We can sell the mask and live a life of thrills and decadence across the galaxy. Always running, never looking back. It could be quite an adventure.
Officers?
Juno! This is our guy?
Oh, I could be, officer. Just give me the chance.
Be careful with this one. He's slippery.
Well, it can't be too bad if you caught him.
I'll be down at the station in just a minute.
Ooh, can't wait. Can't have a field day with this one. Hey, bring a helmet. Fujiko's got a lead pipe and it's got your name on it.
You're so cute when you're like this, Juno. Until we meet again.
He was gone. His scent still lingered in the air. That cologne that I was never quite able to place. Like nothing I'd ever smelled before, like something from another planet. It was going to take weeks to get that smell out. I had to clear my head before I went down to the station, so I had to pour myself another drink. But that's when I saw it. He must have written it somehow with his hands cuffed. I believe he could do anything.
Juno, if you wish for one last glimpse of me, watch the public access drive for Route 742. Somewhere along Mercury Drive, but no farther than Vulcan's Way. Take a good look, detective. It may be your last. I do hope it isn't, though. I meant every word I said, Juno. It will be quite an adventure. I'll be waiting for you to join me. Signed, your better half, Peter Nereyev.
Rita?
Mrs. Steele?
Rita.
You would call me it.
Rita, I need you to get me a line with Sasha Wyatt right now.
Who?
Agent W, the Dark Matters lady who called this morning.
But she said it was confidential.
Just call her, damn it.
All right. Someone needs their beauty sleep.
Damn it, Maria. I couldn't wait. I had to know now.
Hey, Juno. How's it going, buddy?
The thief? Where is he?
We made sure he was secure, I swear. 1 second, he's in the back in handcuffs. Then as we're tied together and we're incapacitated.
Oh, God damn it.
Hey, Juno. You're gonna call the precinct, right, Juno? Buddy? Juno?
Juno, this line is confidential. If you didn't call me so bad, you should have had a class call. Well, where is he?
I wish I could tell you, Sasha. Come down sometime and I'll tell you the whole story.
Juno, you tell me that story right now. Juno.
Well, that's how things go in Hyperion City. 1 minute, she's your daughter. The next, she's your killer. 1 minute, he's your partner. And the next, he's gone. Sasha might have called back a few times, but I didn't answer. Couldn't trust her. I couldn't trust anyone just then. But when you get hurt by the big, mean world, you lick your wounds and you start over. The world gets a little bigger, a little meaner. Maybe you do too. And in the meantime, you sleep. Sleep and miss the smell of heated narrative in the air. It would take weeks to get that sent out. And I've missed it ever since.
And once again, our story comes to a close, dear traveler. Juno Steele will live to see another day, and Peter Nuryev will continue to wander through the stars. But this is not the end of their story, dear traveler, for there is much more in store for Juno Steele in The Thief Without a Name. Dastardly foes, a Martian weapon from before the dawn of time, and an unlikely family of travelers, much like yourself, and...
Oh, just roll the credits already.
All right, jeez. The tale you've just heard, Juno Steele in the Case of the Murderous Mask, was told by the following people. I'm so sorry you've been called away, dear traveler. We eagerly await your return. Thank you.
Is this on? Okay. Hi, everybody. We're the student directors for the show you just watched, Juno Steele and the Case of the Murderous Mask. This is the first show that the high school has been able to put on since the fall of 2019, so it's been a very long time. We just wanted to take a moment to thank all of the incredible people who made the show possible.
First of all, we'd like to give a big thank you to Mr. Guna and Mr. Sham, who've been in the lights booth helping us run lights. And thanks to the incomparable Ms. Jyoti Goswami and Mr. Thomas Wesson, who've been helping us coordinate things like props and helping us make our vision for the show a reality. Helping them with coordinating props and everything that we need for our stage, our wonderful stage managers, Laura Thomas. And a very special thank you to Maddie, Cody Doris, and the rest of the National Art Honor Society for helping us bring the stage to life. Everybody in the health office, especially Ms. Kibba White, who's been helping us coordinate things with COVID control and making this production as safe to put on as possible. And of course, the high school administrative offices, especially Mr. Syed and Mr. Kitch, who've been helping us and supporting us the entire way. And lastly, but certainly not least, a very special thank you to Kevin Weibert and Harley Takagi Painter, the original writer and director of the Penumbra podcast, who've been giving us a lot of support and feedback, and it's been a real honor and privilege to be able to work alongside them on this project. And a big thank you to the audience for coming out and supporting us and supporting the arts at AES, and we hope to see you again in the spring production that will be coming sometime in the next few months. Thank you all for coming and have a good night.